Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jennifer Meckles. We're waiting to learn more about the person inside a small plane that crashed in Berthoud this morning. This was the scene along County Road 2 after an ultralight went down about 8:30 this morning. We learned it hit power lines. The lines were right next to the aircraft. But officials haven't said if it hit the lines when it fell or after the crash. Berthoud Fire told us one person was on board. They have serious injuries. We are unsure their condition at this time. We'll certainly bring you more information online and on air when we get it. New at noon, the Boulder County Sheriff's Office tells us a man was found dead near Boulder Falls yesterday. A group called 911 saying they'd made that discovery on the east side of the falls. Due to the steep terrain there, the Rocky Mountain Rescue Group had to be called in to help. This death is not considered suspicious. Now let's talk about the return of some dangerous temperatures. We'll see a spike near 100 degrees today. Ugh. We also could have some gusty winds. Joining me now is Corey Reppenhagen with our 9 News Weather Impact team. Those are bad ingredients for fires, man.
Yeah, we're going to get those storms that really firefighters do not like to see. No really significant rain out of any storms across Colorado today. Just gusty winds underneath them, and that includes us here in the Denver metro area on the Front Range. You can see the clouds really just starting to form, so we're still a few hours away from that. So lots of sunshine. Temperatures are on their way up there. 93 in downtown, 92 at Denver International Airport. We're up there close to 100 degrees today, so we are on record alert. Here's the forecast as over the next several hours here. 97, we could be in the upper 90s for about 4-5 hours maybe this afternoon, so stay hydrated as we close in on a record territory. The record would be 99, so we're going to be pretty close to that. The 97 and 98 had just about the same probability, and really 99 wasn't too far away. Temperatures all across the region. Another really hot day out on the western slope. Next couple of days are going to be hot here in Denver, 99, 96, and even the weekend looks pretty hot into the low 90s.
All right, Corey, thank you. Here's some good news and some bad news. Bad news first. We know those weather conditions are terrible for firefighting, especially will be rough in the high country today and tomorrow. The good news is evacuation orders for the Oak Fire burning near Pagosa Springs, those are expected to be lifted at any moment. The sheriff's office says that fire is burning 75 acres. It is 47% contained so far. Crews are still working on a whole bunch of hot spots, root systems burning underground, sections that are smoldering. Officials say they'll send out an alert through Nixle when the area is back open for re-entry, and they'll be setting up checkpoints and require proof of residence for people to get back in. In Rio Blanco County, the Lee Fire continues to creep closer to Garfield County. That fire's now topped 120,000 acres. It is only 4% contained. We learned yesterday it's now burned 3 homes and 12 outbuildings since it first started on August 2nd. Luckily, nobody has been hurt. Much more positive story, though, on the fight to put out another big fire near Meeker, the Elk Fire. That one is now 75% contained and has not grown since at least yesterday. But it has burned 14,500 acres. It's destroyed 2 homes and 2 outbuildings since that one started, also on August 2nd. And as flames creep closer to Garfield County, the school district there decided they had to delay the first day of school this week. So instead of starting on Monday, they've pushed back to today. They've had that thick, stinky smoke in the air, plus internet and communication outages. The school district says those extra 2 days gave them the time to fix the communication issues, but they really can't do much about the air quality. And it is still a real concern, especially for the kids. There's also the issue of evacuation orders.
They're very close to us, especially those folks that are in Rifle. I know that we have staff that live up in Meeker that have been more directly impacted as well. So we're just, again, really thankful that people are being as safe as possible for themselves and their families. And I hope that all of the families in our community are able to say that same thing.
The district says fire conditions have been changing a lot. They may have to make school changes again. They said they'll prioritize keeping staff and students safe. A soccer coach now faces child sexual assault allegations, and Parker police are looking for other possible victims. Police arrested Juan Hernandez on multiple counts Friday, including sexual assault on a child. The 40-year-old was a soccer coach at Fusion Soccer Inc., doing business under Rapids Youth Soccer. Anyone who has information should call Parker Police. The Douglas County School District is ramping up security at their stadiums, where it's going to look a lot like pro sports venues now. The district says this is a proactive approach to safety, not based on anything local, but based on violence at high school football games in other parts of the country. They're just trying to get ahead of it. The district told families they bought 4 metal detectors for roughly $100,000 as part of a pilot program. No weapons of any kind will be allowed in, regardless of concealed carry licenses. They're also switching to a clear bag policy and requiring any student 8th grade or younger to be with an adult. They're going to test these new protocols this upcoming football season. Back here in Denver, city leaders have outlined how they're going to be laying off city workers next week. They just haven't said how many people will lose their jobs. The city says they'll be cutting vacant positions and probationary workers first, and then from there, they're going to use a new ranking tool that scores employees on seniority, skills, abilities, and their performance. Most agencies have already finished the process. They know who will be laid off. Those who lose their jobs will get 30 days paid leave with benefits and severance up to 8 weeks pay. Eviction filings in Denver are expected to break records this year. Housing advocates say they have already seen 9,335 cases through July. Why does that matter? It is 300 higher than this time last year. And there are 3 Denver zip codes that have it the worst: 80249 Green Valley Ranch, 80204, which is part of West Colfax, and 80239 in Montbello. Advocates are blaming the rising cost of housing and other essentials and the failure of wages to keep up with those costs. There have also been big investments in housing by Denver and the state of Colorado, but the need for housing continues to outpace resources. The U.S. government's national debt has now surpassed $37 trillion, a record for our country and earlier than the pre-pandemic projections. Back in 2020, the Congressional Budget Office predicted the federal debt would not hit $37 trillion until 2030. But the debt grew faster, because of multi-year COVID-19 pandemics issues starting back in 2020, shutting down much of the U.S. economy. Now, President Trump's new sweeping tax cut and spending package is expected to add more than $4 trillion to the national debt over the next decade.